Hello everyone, nice to meet you again with the Disney 3D Art YouTube channel. In today's video it will be the character Claude Frollo from the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Judge Claude Frollo was the main antagonist of Disney's 1996 animated feature film The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He was a powerful Parisian justice minister who, after a series of sensitive circumstances, became the begrudged caretaker of the deformed Quasimodo. Aside from his political authority, Frollo was a religious zealot with intolerance for sinners. He believed the Romani people to be the most heinous of all malefactors, and therefore dedicated 20 years of his life to eradicating them. Frollo's self-imposed mission drove him to perform inhumane acts of violence, all the while using his loyalty to God as justification. Claude Frollo was a rather complex person. A religious extremist and a dogmatist, Frollo was convinced that all his actions were justified because they were God's will. Though he was a cruel and corrupt government official who used his place in power to meet his own extreme ends, even employing common thugs to enforce his interpretation of God's will while posing as soldiers. This made him feared and reviled throughout the city. Although Paris's anti-Romani sentiments appear to be systemic, the persecution of the Roma appears to be advocated by Frollo, who was determined to eliminate the Roma scattered throughout Paris, as their indulgence in what Frollo calls witchcraft and sorcery was infectious to those around them, according to him. Frollo has also shown a mild sadistic streak, as he briefly smiled while his ex-captain of the guard was tortured and took pleasure in burning Esmeralda at the stake. Surprisingly, Frollo had been known to be a somewhat forgiving person. This is evidenced by how he forgave Quasimodo for attempting to deceive him in order to attend the Festival of Fools, and how he equated the letter F with forgiveness when teaching Quasimodo the alphabet. Another example is how Victor, Hugo, and Laverne seem to be aware of Frollo's merciful side, as they suggested Frollo was more likely to forgive Quasimodo for his defiance than to permit him to attend the Festival of Fools. This turned out to be true, as he did in fact forgive him for his disobedience. He also ultimately forgave Quasimodo for helping Esmeralda escape Notre Dame, believing the hunchback was under a spell of Esmeralda's making. Interestingly, while most Disney villains know that what they do is wrong, and they either do not care or take pride in it, Frollo actually believes that he is a good person, or at the very least believes his actions are for the greater good, making him a very three-dimensional character as well. He repeatedly refuses to find fault within himself and is quite self-righteous, declaring himself much purer than the common vulgar, weak, licentious crowd, and to be above the biblical doctrine that all men are equally sinful, confirming him as a narcissist. He believes that everything he does is in the name of God, even as he attacks the Cathedral of Notre Dame for the sake of catching, arresting, and executing one Romani woman. However, at the end of Hellfire, he does beg God for mercy on Esmeralda for what he plans to do with her and mercy on him for his plans, and part of his sparing Quasimodo was as penance for his killing his mother. So he is capable of some form of guilt in his own twisted way. On a similar note, the mea culpa chorus of Hellfire implies that he does to some level recognize that he was at fault, and implies a more self-loathing aspect to his nature. Apparently, Frollo used to be celibate. However, he comes to lust for the beautiful Esmeralda, but after a moment of indecision ends up blaming his own lust for her on witchcraft and the devil rather than accept that he himself is prone to sin as everyone else. His lust drives him murderously insane, which ultimately proves to be his downfall when he pushes Quasimodo too far by almost killing Esmeralda. When he believes his lust for Esmeralda to be turning him to sin, he is partially right, because it's this that makes him murderous and unfair towards the other people, arresting two families and attempting to kill one just because they wouldn't give him Esmeralda. Frollo was also very cruel and manipulative to Quasimodo. He refuses to allow the hunchback to experience freedom, forces the young man to call him master, and allows him to be humiliated in public without even bothering to help him, as punishment for disobeying him. Additionally, during Frollo's outbursts, Quasimodo tries to move away from him, implying that Frollo has physically abused Quasimodo in the past. Despite all that, Frollo has traces of humanity in his relationship with Quasimodo, as he spends his free time eating lunch and dinner with his adoptive son, as well as his willingness to educate him, employ him as Notre Dame's bell ringer, provide for him, and even give him the means to spend time on his hobbies. He also seems to eschew imagination, believing that stone cannot talk, and attempt to get Quasimodo to believe this as well.
Master, dear boy, whomever are you talking to? My friends. I see. And what are your friends made of, Quasimodo?
stone.
Can stone talk?
No, it can't.
That's right. You're a smart lad.
Furthermore, Frollo appears to be a rather stoic man, always appearing cool and collected, and only shows fear when Quasimodo overpowers him after he prepares to kill him and when he is about to fall to his death. He also shows visible fear when the many eyes of Notre Dame glare at him for murdering an innocent woman upon the cathedral steps. He rarely exhibits any humor, and whenever he does, it's dry and black. Despite his single-mindedness, Frollo's true weakness is that he cannot feel or understand love for another person, even when he really tries. It was this cruelty and abuse that drove Quasimodo to have very little loyalty towards his master and protect the first two people who ever showed the hunchback true kindness, namely Esmeralda and Phoebus. Nevertheless, Frollo does genuinely try to be an attentive father to Quasimodo while raising him. But ultimately he proves to be too full of hate and arrogance to be a caring parent. Frollo also appears to be a misanthrope with little to no sense of personalization, despite Quasimodo being the only person to whom he refers by name, as he refers to his soldiers as "you men," as they prepare to attack the cathedral, and usually refers to Esmeralda as the gypsy girl or the girl. First is to draw the body, then dressed in a black and purple robe, a purple jumpsuit for Claude Frollo. Next is to draw 2 legs and 2 arms for Claude Frollo. Next is to draw the neck, head, and decorate the face for Claude Frollo. Finally, draw the hairstyle and then wear the black striped tricorn hat with a red sash attached to the bottom for Claude Frollo. So the character Claude Frollo from the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame has been completed. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to receive the new notify. At the same time, download the app and go to the website DisneyStore to shopping online, as well as Disney Plus to watch some movies and TV shows for free, used by many people of the world. My link attached below under the description. Please be careful to avoid being scammed. We'll see you again tomorrow with some Disney characters will be appear right now, so thanks for watching and goodbye everyone.